Hey everyone, today I'm breaking down my Relic choice strategy for the Catalyst League in Runescape. I'm an old school player and love the League's content ever since the very first one, so I'm really hoping that the hype transfers over to RS3. I also want to share my path as a busy father of two really young kids, which means my playstyle is basically limited time, maximum AFK. If I can sneak in progress between diaper changes and bedtime chaos, I consider that an amazing win. So let's get into it. For the first relic, I'm going with Excavator. I wanted something that gives me immediate value and decent AFK option at the start. In old school, Animal Wrangler was amazing, but I don't think RS3 leans as hard into the fishing and hunter content, so value for that could be a little less, and I could be totally wrong, but honestly, going in blind is half the fun. Plus, I've never touched archaeology before, so it's kind of like killing two birds with one relic. Worst case, I end up digging some holes in the ground, wondering what I'm doing with my life, but hey, that's Runescape, right? Next up is Farming Frenzy. This one's a dad life pick for sure. It basically means I can whip up end-game potions without spending hours farming the ingredients. Since my free time is so short, I want to focus on doing end-game content, not prepping for it. The instant crops makes the grind smoother and saves me precious minutes. Because let's be honest, if I spend my entire play session waiting on herbs to grow, I might as well just go water my real life plants instead. For Relic 3, I'm leaning towards Assassin's Insight, depending on how the Slayer teleport collection works. The idea of teleporting straight to a target is pretty appealing, and since Slayer is very good for account building, it gives you money, combat XP, etc., I think that's pretty strong. Now, Fairy's Flight is tempting because the Fairy Ring network is massive, but since Farming Frenzy makes crops instant, I feel like I lose out on part of that relic. That said, if the Slayer teleports are kinda shit, I might flip-flop. So this is basically my we'll see relic. For tier 4, I'm going Production Master. This one was a monster moneymaker in old school, and I think it'll be just as strong here. It's also a huge boost for construction and crafting milestones, which means faster telly jewelry unlocks. And let's not forget, infinite earns for free XP on multiple skills. It's like the game giving me a little butt smack, acknowledging my play. For my 5th relic, I'm picking the Necromancy Focus relic. Necromancy is a totally new skill for me, and honestly that's part of the excitement. I messed around with it a little bit when it first dropped, and I remember some decent AFK spots, so I like that mix of combat and a semi-chill skilling. And let's be real, if there's ever a time to mess around with something shiny and new, it's during Leagues. For tier 6, I'm going with Banker's Note. I'll admit it, I know nothing about invention. For all I know, the other relic could be super broken. But until I sit down and actually read a guide, I'm sticking with what I know. Unlimited noting and unnoting, and bank access in most areas. I use this relic in old school leagues, and it made grinding and farming so much smoother. And fewer bank trips means more AFK, and that means that I can set up on mobile while still having focus on my family without dying or diverting too much attention from them. For tier 7, if I even make it that far, I'm looking at Everlasting Faith. Even as someone who doesn't really play RS3, I know how busted Soul Split was, so having it active while deflecting damage, yes please. Plus, Not having to train prayer at all, that's a win. And the free redo button for learning the harder content, let's just say I'm gonna need it. A lot. A lot. So, if you're trying to decide for yourself, here's my advice as someone who has played every single old school league. Don't just copy the setups that you see online. Watching streamers can give you serious FOMO. And the next thing you know, you're re-rolling an alt because you think you messed up. Instead, think about your goals and your playstyle. That's what makes leagues so fun. You can build all sorts of crazy combos. For me, it's about maximizing AFK time during the day, then sending it hard at night when I finally get time to play. So yeah, that's my Relic choice strategy for Catalyst League. Thanks for sticking through my dad rant on relics. If you found this helpful, drop a like and consider subscribing. Good luck grinding, and I'll catch you in the next one.